Obi-Wan, have you done as I asked? Have you trained the boy?
Master Qui-Gon, how are you here?
I am here because you are here.
Hey, what's happening, everyone? I'm SirJames coming at you guys with another video. Hopefully you guys are doing okay out there. I know some of you guys have been messaging me that are a little bit concerned and scared with the current situation around the world. The best thing that you can do in the situation right now, besides, following the guidelines and basic hygiene, is to stay positive. Focus on the positive, because if you're focusing in fear and stuff like that, that's only going to hurt you in the end. So again, remain positive, play some video games, movies. Speaking of, Star Wars, we're now officially on the Ahsoka arc for Season 7, which should be airing today as of this video goes out. So again, stay positive, and in the end, hopefully everything will go back to normal soon enough. So today, I want to go ahead and try to spread some of the positive by showcasing something that I know many of you are excited for, and that is Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber, which is 100% 3D printed. And best of all, it's actually using an existing piece, which is the Lightsaber Core from Savi's workshop. So meaning that, this is fully working electronics because it's using that internal core piece. If you're not familiar with Savi's workshop, essentially how it goes is that when you do end up with your starter piece, which is a core, and where in the center will be an empty slot for your kyber crystal, and that's going to be the activation switch portion, and then you slide in all your metal components over that. Here it's doing the same thing where you can have your core piece and then you're sliding your components over the top. But in this case, instead of metal components, everything here is 100% plastic using PLA material, which I printed up using a 3D printer, which I have the Creality CR10, for those of you who are probably about to ask me about now. Now, keep in mind that I am actually not the creator of the file, but the person did send me them, and I was able to print them out and to report any issues, so I was a little bit of a guinea pig as well. But the person who made the files is username on Etsy, MLB Saber Supply. Now, he does have the files available for purchase on his Etsy page. He has the Qui-Gon Jinn style, and he's also got one for Obi-Wan Kenobi based on Episode 1, if I remember correctly. The files are $20 to purchase. However, if you actually use my link in the description, it actually has my coupon on there, where you'll get half off the purchase. So therefore, instead of $20 for the files, it's only going to be $10. So that's really a good deal. So it's worth checking out now while the coupon is still available for use. So let's go ahead and give you guys a closer look, and I'll talk about the paint that I used and go some extra details from there. So first off, let's go ahead and give you guys a closer look here. And I'm actually very happy with how the paint turned out, because I wasn't really sure how this was going to turn out initially with the paint that I chose, but I'm extremely happy with those results. And then you get your switch there. So let's go ahead and start with some things that you're probably noticing. Is that first off, you'll notice that this red portion, some of you may be pointing, but doesn't that supposed to sit higher? And yes, technically you are correct when it comes to the original lightsaber design. This bit was actually much higher on the saber. But again, because we're using that core piece, the default portion for the activation is smack down in the middle, and there's not much you can really do with that. I mean, there's some workarounds you could probably do, but it's really up to the user who made the files on what they wanted to do with the initial design. Or maybe it's done that way to avoid some copyright. Who knows? But anyways, I mean, the main point is that when you look at this lightsaber, you could instantly tell that's Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber, so it's still serving its purpose regardless. The other thing that you may notice, that unlike some of the other lightsabers that I've showcased, is that this one is actually not weathered at all. It's super clean. The reason why is because honestly, I didn't really have any idea how I wanted to weather this. If I wanted to, I just felt like Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber, it's way too good looking to weather. And just to give it that nice, clean, shiny look to it, I thought that's just the proper way of having it. And so that's what I wanted to do, and just to kind of see how good it would look, clean regardless. And what I ended up doing is that I actually ended up using tester's paint, which are those little glass vials there. And for the black portions, I ended up using a glossy black for that. And then for the metal portion here, or the appearance of metal, is that I actually used a paint called Metal Silver. And so what I ended up doing is that I ended up painting the silver portions first, and I ended up doing about a couple layers of it. And then afterwards, once that got the chance to settle and dry, where I was able to handle the saber without leaving any fingerprints or getting any dirts to kind of seep in the paint, is that I went over with the black finish with the glossy. Just kind of went over that, and then I went over the silver one more time to get any areas that I might have gotten black onto. And then once everything was done, I hit it with a glossy spray to kind of give it a protective finish overall, and just to kind of help with its overall appearance. And that's how it came to be, which is, again, it kind of reminds me of the Qui-Gon Jinn Lightsaber from back in the early 2000s I remember having as a kid. But since we have it here, let's go ahead and showcase it activating like it's supposed to. So again, we got the lightsaber blade here from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This is the one from Savi's workshop, which is a 31-32 inch. This also works again with the 26 inch or even the 36 inch that they sell there. Let's see. Boom. Now let's go ahead and turn off this light here. And now activate. Now again, the electronics, for those of you who don't know, is the same basic electronics from Savi's workshop. There was little to no difference at all. The only difference really is just the style of the lightsaber for the outer portions. All the internal parts remains the same. So again, if I open this up, and if I were to change the kyber crystal to blue or red or whatever it is that I want to use, I can do that while having it in the style of Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber. Which again is just really nice how everything turned out. Now down here you do have holes here for the sound ventilation. It's not as loud as some of the other ones, but if you really wanted that extra volume, you could drill in some extra holes if you wanted to. Just make sure that you remove the bottom pommel first before you drill those holes so you don't mess up the battery pack. But regardless, I mean, it's perfectly fine. If I wanted to, I could maybe even enlarge the holes to get a little bit more sound out of it. Go ahead and deactivate. Now as far as how does it feel in hand, for one, it's extremely lightweight, just like the Ventress lightsaber that I did. It's not heavy in comparison to the Ezra one that I've showcased before already. So extremely lightweight. And the other thing that you probably notice is that this, at the moment, doesn't have a D-ring or cover tech system, which I believe, if I recall, Qui-Gon has a cover tech on his, which would normally go, which I do have a spare one here, I just didn't add it, because what I ended up doing is that I had the infill set at 20%, so if I wanted to add this, I would feel like I would probably have to print this bottom sleeve at a higher density to make this one work. But if I were to add a, cover tech wheel, I could probably maybe add one somewhere over here. Stop focusing on my face. You can, maybe somewhere around there. But regardless, I think this turned out pretty well, and I'm really happy with the files. So if you are someone that owns a 3D printer and you have a chassis from Savi's workshop, and you're just wanting a Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber, I think this is easily well worth your price, especially for my coupon code at $10. Again, you're pretty much getting a really good deal out of it, and you'll be able to add another style for your Savi's lightsaber collection. So in the end, since the user was pretty quick in fixing the files, I'm easily going to give this a full 10 out of 10. I'm just very happy with the results of this one. Feels great. All the pieces are the same exact sizes from Savi's workshop, all the metal components, so there's no oddness to this whatsoever. And again, it's made with the best possible way to where you're not getting any kind of weirdness to it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And before we end off this video, a little bit of a couple things to share. For one, I did 3D print a Clone Trooper helmet. This is not the wearable size. I mean, the original file is a wearable size, but I shrunk it down. So here is that. I'm very happy with it. I didn't paint it or anything yet. I just have a black t-shirt under here. But I may eventually print out the full wearable helmet, hopefully soon. And then we have the child. And I did all the painting on this one as well. And the last thing that I want to go ahead and mention before we end off this video, as I am down to any moment now the battery or the camera's about to die, is that next week there's actually a VR game that I'm really looking forward to playing called Half-Life Alyx. And I will be providing some gameplay where I have the camera set up with live commentary. So hopefully you guys look forward to that. I believe it comes out on the 23rd, or I think it's like Tuesday or Wednesday. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys on the next video upload.